So, do you want to become a millionaire in your 20s? Today I will tell you 5 principles that one learned will not only help you become a millionaire, but also allow you to increase your personal level. There is a difference between becoming rich after 30 or becoming rich at a young age, because you will suddenly discover a new standard of living that you didn't even know existed. And it is not just because of the money, but also because of the kind of person you need to become to earn that money. So, what qualities do you need to have? What fears to work with? I mean, believe me, I earned my first million at a fairly young age. And the most important lesson I learned over the past few years is that there are actually many ways to earn that million. And that's why the first lesson is that don't be afraid to try to make money in different ways. I'm saying there are a million ways to make $1 million. And it's true. Think about your social networks. There are just a lot of millionaires around. But this is not the whole truth. You see about 99% of them are unnecessarily complicated. Nevertheless, there are more than enough ways to make money, which, although they may not be easy to learn, are very simple. I tried different ways to settle on trading, but there are so many different things working for the young guys around me. One of the biggest mistakes people make is trying to succeed with one method of making money. And it doesn't mean that you don't need consistency and perseverance, that you need to immediately quit if it didn't work out. But sometimes you also need to understand that not every method will work for every person, and sometimes it is better to just figure out what works better for you, rather than keep hiding in the same spot. Everyone has their own experience and strengths. And that's why don't be afraid to make money in different ways, try different things, acquire different skills, and eventually combine all these things. You just need to do it step by step, because at your stage, you need to constantly do something and constantly learn. Because before you can earn your first million, you need to earn your first $100,000. And before you get your first $100,000, you need to earn your first $10,000, $1,000, and so on. If there are many ways to earn a million, then there are even more ways to earn 1,000. So now when you learn the first principle and believe in this idea, the next principle is that you don't actually have a problem with work or business. You have personal problems that manifest themselves in your case. We'll have crisis moments in our lives or relationships. Sometimes the system malfunctions. Similarly, there are moments in career when it's difficult for people to rise to the next level. And when they face problems, they look for reasons. But in fact, there is no reason, they're just looking for scapegoats. Oh, my niche doesn't work, oh, we don't have any good products, oh, this platform doesn't work. And the problem is that is usually not the case. In fact, the problem is much deeper, because the problem is in them. And believe me guys, everyone faces this at the very beginning. When I first started my business, I thought that I was experiencing difficulties because of my young age. And then I had to realize that it wasn't about my age. It was just an excuse I made up. The fact is that I didn't know the tools well enough. I didn't understand the important things for my job. It was only when I took full responsibility for everything that happens in my life that my profits began to grow exponentially. And it's not because I've suddenly grown so much, no. It was all in my head. It was just a personal problem or personal belief or personal worldview that manifests itself in the work. And that's why I realized that I had to change my mindset, change my methods in order to make progress in trading. For example, if you're constantly distracted by social media and cannot concentrate, the problem is not the social media and content. You just can't take responsibility for this and put your phone in a drawer every time you get to work. Or if you can get up early in the morning, it's not because you are a night owl, but because you don't take responsibility for what time you go to bed the day before. And there are a lot of such moments. It's so obvious, but sometimes we don't notice in particular moments. So the lesson to be learned from this is to simply evaluate your life. Once you analyze your life, be honest with yourself. Identify all the bad habits, identify all the things that are holding you back. And believe me, this is especially important at the beginning of your career, because your earnings directly depend on both what you are actively doing and what you're not doing. This means that you need to make sure that your inner state allows you to succeed. So the next principle is that you don't need to invest money to get rich. Here's the thing, I'm not saying you shouldn't invest. You definitely have to do this. But when you have only a few dollars in your account, investing will not give you anything. Let's just break down the math. Even if you invest $3,000 in the market, as a rule, you will get no more than $300 back. And when it comes to investing, it all depends on the risk. You need to analyze the potential graph, how much money you can earn compared to what it will actually cost you to lose it. You shouldn't invest more than you are willing to lose. You will either earn a small percentage, you will lose what you could have invested in your knowledge. Besides, you probably don't know how to get back what you lost. So why would you invest the only money you have if you don't know how to actually earn it? If you lost them, you won't even know how to get them back. Instead, consider alternatives. If you invest at least some of this money in improving your skills, then there will literally be no limit to how much you can earn. That's why you need to invest in yourself. You need to invest in skills that can make more money. Whatever it is, anything that can increase your value in the market will bring you more money. And these are the skills that will lead you to wealth. And another important point, wealth is only half the money, the other half of it is to be a person who is able to earn it. So for now, just focus on what you really need in order to make money. Realize that the best investment will always be yourself, in your skills. If you want to do business, find courses or seminars about it. If you want to engage in trading, then use my channels or find your guide to this world. Just try it and don't stop there. Invest in yourself. Once you master specific skills, no one can take that away from you. And you will be able to earn money from scratch many times because you will know how to do it. The fourth principle is one that people refuse to learn over and over again. They just refuse to let go of what they need to let go. For some it's TikTok, for some bad friends, for some the wrong daily routine, for others bad habits. We all have these things. And that's why the fourth lesson is that you need to learn how to break the shackles. You need to learn to let go of everything that holds you back. Just imagine if tomorrow you get rid of everything that doesn't suit you and leave only what helps to achieve success. What would your life be like if you lived like this for just 1 month? What if this month turned into a year? How much closer would you be to what you wish? It all starts from today. This means that today you have to delete TikTok from your phone and don't download it again unless you want to make money from it. Stop playing video games and sell your video console. Throw alcohol and cigarettes out of the house. And so on and so on. Leave it. You know about your bad friends who are dragging you down? Go to the kitchen right now and throw away everything harmful to your health. You don't need it. And make these decisions and then watch as you rise to the next level. So the last principle, and it's not even a principle but a tool, is to make a promise to yourself or to someone you love. You need to make an honest promise once to someone you love so much that you can't even think of breaking a promise. But first of all, do it for yourself. This is a promise that you will achieve everything you strive for. Give it to yourself and back it up with a social factor. It might be easier for you to share your steps in the media space or just share it with your loved one. When you have an obligation to someone, it's much harder to give it up in a difficult moment. So friends, here are 5 principles that if you learn them will help you achieve your goals. The only thing standing between you and this goal right now is to work a little. So get down to business and remember that small steps are the main key to success. See you!